Okay, this is the Foundations Geometry worksheet. We did a lot of these in class. This is one we didn't do in class. Uh, and this is number 4. And on this problem, the problem says that Bob and Steve are taking a bus from Austin. So I'm going to put a dot in the middle of the page and put an A on it to represent Austin. Okay, so Bob's going to El Paso, and they tell you to go, I want you to remember that a compass points north and south. East is going to be this way, and west will be this way, okay? So it says that Bob is going to El Paso, which is 100 miles to the south, so he's going south of Austin 100 miles. And then he's going to go west 500 miles. So here's El Paso way out here. Not drawn to scale, but oh well, okay? And I labeled it, so let's put EP for El Paso. It says that Steve is going from Austin, remember Austin is right there where the A is, to Shreveport, Louisiana, which is 200 miles north, and again, not drawn to scale, but we'll put 200 here. And it is 150 miles east of Austin, so we're going to go east 150. Now, you can't tell it because my line is kind of slanty there. Every time we make one of these north, south, east turns, we've got to remember there is a right angle at that turn. So how far apart, let's say he arrives here, and that's Shreveport. Okay. And what they want to know is how far apart, and I'll use red to highlight this, how far apart is El Paso from Shreveport? We're going to kind of go through Austin there, pretend that went through Austin. I'll make it a little bit bigger. Now, if you look at this, what we have is we have the Pythagorean theorem that we can solve this, okay? If you remember, the Pythagorean theorem said that a squared plus b squared, 2 legs of a right triangle, and if you notice, I've got 2 right triangles here, equal the hypotenuse square. So I'm going to kind of draw these different colors. There's a green right triangle here that has this hypotenuse. If I'm really measuring from Shreveport to El Paso, I want to know what that, I colored over it, but it was a red line that went from Shreveport to El Paso. If you look at it, that's this green hypotenuse, this C, added to, and then I'll draw a blue right triangle. I'm going to go over that red line. I got to have that hypotenuse. It's the hypotenuse of this blue right triangle. So I've got another blue hypotenuse. I'll just label it C, but we'll do that work in blue. While we're on this bottom triangle, if you look at it, the Pythagorean theorem again says a squared plus b squared c squared. If I can find those 2 hypotenuse, I don't know what you say, hypotenuses or hypotenuse. If I could find them and add them together, I'd have my distance. So to find that blue C, I'm going to say, its legs of its right triangle are 500, and I'm going to square it, and then I'm going to add in 100 squared, because those are the 2 legs squared. That's the hypotenuse squared. So that's going to be 25 with 4 zeros, and 100, a 1 with 4 zeros, which would be what, 10,000, is equal to c squared. Okay, so let's see, we add those together and take the square root of it. Let me turn this off so I can do that math. Okay, that makes the blue C hypotenuse, it makes that be about 509 I'll go ahead and just go out 1 decimal place, 0.9 miles, okay? So I can add that blue one now to the green one up here. So let me go find the green one. The green one has legs of 200 and 150, so it's going to be 200 squared plus 150 squared is the green hypotenuse squared. So I'm going to turn the video off and go do that math. We know that's going to be 4 with 4 zeros after it, and then 150 squared, let's see, is 22500. That's equal to c squared. So if I add those 2 things and square root both sides, I will get that c squared is equal to, if I go ahead and just add those first, it'll be 62,500. Now if I square root both sides, I get 250 is that green C. So I'm going to write in black now so we can see the total here. This is 250 miles. And I need to add it to 509.9 miles. 509.9 if I want to do that. That ends up being about 759.9 miles, which is about 760 miles. So you just basically find the hypotenuse of two different right triangles and add them together, and that will be the whole thing. In geometry, this is called, a lot of times you'll see this referred to as taking a bearing. When you start at a point and you kind of tell the directions people go, you basically end up drawing right triangles, and you can solve it that way. It's one of the ways you could solve it.